Hello and welcome to the CAC Libraries tutorial video, Online Learner Resources, conducting library research as an online student. Sometimes if you're a distance learner taking an online class, you might need to find some resources that you don't have to come to the actual physical library for. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video today. What we want to go over is navigating the library's Blackboard page, some of the resources that you can find in the library's Blackboard information. Then we'll look at two databases. The first is Encyclopedia Britannica, which has general information about a lot of different topics, just basic information. The second database is great for if you need to talk about current events or hot topics, also really good if you're trying to select a topic for an English paper. Opposing Viewpoints Resource Center. They're two really good resources. Let me introduce myself. My name is Bonnie Simmons. I'm a reference librarian at the Superstition Mountain campus. If you have questions about this tutorial, you can contact me either by email or by phone. You'll also see the contact information for the library in general, library@centralaz.edu, or you can call the main Signal Peak campus library and ask to speak to a librarian. So now that we've got that set up, let's go ahead and jump into Blackboard and get started doing some research. Thanks. So for those of you that are taking a distance learning class with Central Arizona College, this guide is to help you figure out some of the things that are available to you online that you can use as resources for your classes. We're starting off in Blackboard, so you log in like usual, and you should have access to the library by going to My Courses and then looking for a class called CAC Library Resources. If you're on the catalog screen, I believe it shows up just a little bit differently, and you'll actually see a listing of some of the librarian names. They all go to the same place. So go ahead and click to pull up the library's page. Cool, here we are. You have options over here. Ask a Librarian is if you have any questions and you want to get a hold of someone at the library. It'll give you phone numbers and email addresses, and we do also have ways that you can chat with a librarian. But here you'll see the emails for all of the different librarians, so that if you're in contact with one particular person, you can always go back and talk to them. I'm right here, bonnie.simmons@centralaz.edu. Or there's a generic library address, which is just library@centralaz.edu, and a reference librarian will be able to answer your email questions. You'll also see the phone numbers for the different library locations. SPC is Signal Peak, that's our main campus. The other branches are Aravaipa, Superstition Mountain, Maricopa, and the Santan campus. So feel free to contact, again, any of those libraries. Any of the librarians there will help you. Primarily, what we want to look at here would be articles and ebooks. But before we do that, let me show you two other things before I forget. The Panopto video here is actually going to show you other videos that are available through the library's Blackboard page, so that you can find information on looking at particular databases or different topics that you might want to investigate. So it's well worth checking into that. There are also handouts available here. So we have handouts about using the MLA format, the APA format, a brochure about if you want to use the database CINAHL, which is for nursing and allied health. You can click into any of these. They are documents that you can download on your computer and have them available anytime that you need them. But primarily what I want to focus on today are the articles and ebooks. So go ahead and click the link that says All Articles and Ebooks. It'll give you a full listing of the library's databases. These are resources that you can use to find information. Some of these are going to be ebooks, where you can look at online versions of printed books, whereas other things are databases that have journal articles, so that you would go into journals, which are magazines, and find specific resources and articles on your topics. One of the easiest ones to use, a good place to start, is Encyclopedia Britannica. Let's click on that one. That's an ebook that actually gives you an overview of a lot of different topics, written at a level that everyone can understand, and it gives you a general overview. So let's say that you're in a literature class and you want to find out about the writer Edgar Allan Poe. All you would need to do is go ahead and click into here and type in the author's name or whatever it is that you want to find out about. You'll see that it actually starts making recommendations to help you find the right thing. For example, I couldn't remember if Edgar Allan Poe was A-L-L-A-N or A-L-L-E-N. It makes the correct recommendation for you, and now you'll be able to find information. This is a reminder that you can double click on words such as cultivation. If you don't recognize it, it'll give you a definition. But here we find basic information about Edgar Allan Poe. the facts about his life, a little bit more detail. You'll see here some of the books and stories that he's written. Anything that's in blue is a link to another article in Encyclopedia Britannica. So if you're studying Romanticism, you can click here and go to the article that talks about that particular time period or way of writing. There are also some recommendations about different articles and books that you might want to read. If you find that this is useful to what you want to do, you have options across the top here. You can print this out on your computer using a printer. You can email the article to yourself to retrieve at a later time. Feel free to use either your CAC email or your personal email. And then citation. These are really wonderful tools. You can choose MLA citation or APA citation depending on what your professor recommends. Then you can just copy and paste this into your works cited page or your references list, and that will show exactly where you've gotten that information from. All right, so now that we're finished with Encyclopedia Britannica, we can actually go back up here and use our tab to go back to that full list of all articles and ebooks. Another great resource that I want to let you guys know about is further down this list. Now, just to show you, up at the top of the list, we have some general information like getting to our catalog if you want to request books, Academic One File and OmniFile streaming video. They have a little bit of everything, but the area that we're looking at is going alphabetically, starting with American Mosaic. We're going to scroll down past our Encyclopedia Britannica and go to the O's for Opposing Viewpoints Resource Center. This is one of my favorite databases. It's a really great resource to use if you're working on an English paper where you need to show pros and cons, if you're writing a history paper, sociology, anything like that, because Opposing Viewpoints Resource Center really talks a lot about different current issues, current topics, where again, for pros and cons paper, you might have different points of view. So this is a great place to jump in and find good information. You can use the prompts right here. Again, this is also really nice if you're struggling to figure out what kind of a paper you might want to write. It's a good place to look for some paper topics to think about. So you can look at this list and see if there's anything that really speaks to you that seems interesting, or you can go over here to the basic search box and click in and type what it is that you're looking for. So let's go ahead and take a look here. For college tuition, let's say that we want to write a paper about why it costs so darn much to go to college. Okay, so just type in what it is that you're looking for and hit the search button, and what it's going to pull up for you are different articles that tell you different parts of the story, the pros, the cons. So here's subsidizing college tuition for illegal immigrants is unfair. Why is college tuition rising? Children of illegal immigrants deserve in-state college tuition rates. So you can see here you have pros and cons, two very different points of view that are going to be making very different points. Why is college tuition rising? It's going to give us kind of a general overview. So let's go ahead and click on the title to go into that article and see what it has to say. The words that you look for are highlighted in red so that if there's a section that's really relevant to what you're researching, you can find it really quickly. So here's the real cost of college, why it's still a good deal, lots of good information. Again, like our example before, you have a list of other books that you might want to try or other articles that might be of interest. Okay. Let's scroll back up to the top. Again, if you find facts in here that you want to use, or if there are quotes that you want to pull out, you'll want to make sure that you include a citation. For this database, the citation is going to be right here under the smaller version of the title. There's how to cite. So if you click on that, okay, you'll want to go ahead and, it seems very strange, but click in this box to save the citation, and now you can go ahead and copy and paste this into your paper. I will advise you that you'll want to double check the citations. This actually should be in a format where it's last name comma first name, and it's not, so you may have to go in and adjust it a little bit, either to Pulliam Weston comma Liz or Weston comma Liz Pulliam. Either of those should work, but that gives you the MLA style citation that you can use for your paper. Also across the top here are other options if you'd like to print out this article to save for later. Again, you can email this to yourself to your personal address or your CAC address. This one has download, so if you'd like to save this on your computer or save it on a flash drive to access later when you're offline, you can go ahead and save a copy of that here. Another thing I want to point out using Opposing Viewpoint Resource Center is over here on the side there, actually the terms that they sort of prefer. We typed in college tuition to find this article, but you can also look, for example, at higher education costs or student financial aid if that's really the focus of your topic. So let's click higher education costs. Okay, And now we find a lot more articles that maybe we didn't see before. These are the viewpoint articles. So again, they're coming from a particular point of view. Tuition reforms will make Ivy League schools more affordable, why you might be paying student loans until you retire. Just lots of ideas coming from lots of different places. There are also other tabs across the top here. You can find reference information from like dictionaries and encyclopedias, magazine articles, which are geared for the average reader who may not have a background in that particular topic. Academic journals tend to be a little more scholarly, a little more for someone who's studied, let's say, higher education or whatever the topic is. Newspaper articles, primary sources would be if there is, let's say, a document or a speech that was about your topic. Statistics, multimedia will give you, for example, if there are relevant videos from if there are relevant videos from news resources, they'd be available there, and then websites that might be of interest. Again, if any of these look interesting, you just click the title, and once again, you're there in that article, and you found more information, more resources that you can use. And this just clicking on it randomly is a really lovely article because you've got so many of these great statistics that you could add into a paper. So again, Opposing Viewpoints Resource Center is a really, really wonderful database to go into to see if you can find any information about your topic. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching our tutorial video today for the Online Learner Resources. I hope it's been helpful. Just as a refresher, the things that we talked about in the video today, how to get around in the Blackboard page to find handouts and to find additional instructional videos. The next slide will actually show a list of some other videos you might be interested in. We also use the database Encyclopedia Britannica. That was the one with the Edgar Allan Poe example, and also Opposing Viewpoints Resource Center that we use to find out about college tuition. So hopefully those are good tools that can help you out. As you use those, if you find that you have any problems or questions, the contact information for the library is here again, library@centralaz.edu, or call the Signal Peak campus library, and feel free to ask for a librarian. My information again is at the beginning of the video if you'd like to double check and ask me about anything. And for those of you who might be interested in learning more about some of our databases, here are some other instructional videos that you can find from the library's Blackboard page about APA style citations, MLA style citations, more information about using Opposing Viewpoints database, and citation tools that'll help you build those works cited pages. Thank you so much.